All right. So Stellar MLS. I was just explaining that not everybody operates on Stellar. So if you're joining us through our YouTube page and you're watching this video at a later date and you're like, well, I don't even know what Stellar is. Not every board has Stellar. Stellar is just a program. It's an ends to the means to access the world that we call the MLS. But the reason I like doing this class for agents and new agents is for them to understand that, just when I say that, or I want to talk to a client, I say, hey, I'm going to go jump on the MLS and send you properties, that you guys understand the difference of what that really means. Because the one we all know, or a lot of times what we call the MLS, is actually Matrix. All right. So on my screen, you can see Matrix, and a lot of us hopefully hopefully have experience with the Matrix, because that's where we go to look for properties and upload our clients and maybe use this as a CRM. You can get some market reports here. You can get some basic things. But all of us, for the most part, know about that. But there's a lot more that the MLS offers, and so that's why I want to go in. So the only one I don't have is my homepage. I saved all the other tabs I want to talk about. All right. So when you guys log in, obviously everyone knows about this screen. And again, pin favorites you can see on mine. Matrix is right there because this is where we hop on the most. Right. So over here, you can see your products and services. You can review and pay your Stellar MLS bills. If you didn't pay your Stellar yet, today is the deadline. Today at 5 p.m. to pay it and not have to pay $100 reinstatement fee. So if you have not, we are June 4th, so I don't know if it's the first Tuesday in the month. And again, if you're watching this at a later date on the YouTube channel and it's come full circle to another year, and either way, guys, in 2024, June 4th at 5 p.m. is the deadline. So again, maybe if you're watching in the future and you're like, well, I can wait to pay that Stellar, I can wait to pay that. It would appear you have until about the first week of the next month to get that before you get really kicked out and have the $100 reinstatement fee applied. But they have Stellar MLS University, so a lot of people, and maybe you're watching this on the YouTube page and you have been looking for some training. All right. A lot of things people don't understand is that Stellar provides that training. Not everybody works for big brokerages. Not everybody works for these opportunities where they have training provided to you guys like you do here, or maybe at Mark Spain or where have you. But if you guys are out there and you're on an island or you're by yourself or you come across our YouTube and you want to go ahead and start learning some things, you obviously if you're not a MLS member yet, you can't access this page. But say if you got this far and now you're trying to pick a brokerage or you're at a brokerage and you're not happy, but you want to start learning stuff, I talk about it all the time, guys. Let's control what we can control. All right. Training is 100% in your control. That's 100% effort is between you and you. And it is up to you to go ahead and control that. And so here's one area that you can come. Besides the fact, if you go to YouTube, just like the page we were talking about or our page here, you're going to see other things that you can learn in real estate. But there's tons of knowledge out there. But again, this is going to be from an accredited source, right? This is, especially the Orlando Regional Realtor Association runs very well. It runs a surplus. They're building a new building. They provide a lot of things, and that's what we're going to get into, all the extra things they provide for us. But that's because they are ran properly and do have a lot of great resources. I know I've met a ton of professionals, just like we're here today with Martha, and she's at a different brokerage. That's what it's about. And when we all work together in this Orlando Regional Realtor Association, and really, it's it's was it it's collaboration over competition, right? So when we collaborate and we can go ahead and share our best practices, and Aura's created a really great way of doing that. So Stellar MLS, a lot of their training is really good. All right, so you got customer support here. Obviously, you see your announcements and all that stuff, right? So this is your basics to Stellar MLS. I cover it because a lot of times I feel like you guys might log in, go straight to Matrix, and not ever really take a look at the stuff, right? We have leadership elections going on. You can go ahead and learn, or you can serve. You can find out how you can serve on your realtor board. Here's the online training schedule for the MLS from June 3rd to the 2nd. All right. New Smyrna Beach Board of Realtors full access is now live, right? So we've always had West Volusia part of Aura, but it looks like now we're starting to trickle into East Volusia, and we got the new Smyrna Beach Board of Realtors. So a lot of great announcements you can see here, guys. All right, so hopping into the part of the class that is what I hope to bring a lot of conversation to. Like I said today, I wanted it to also resemble what I hope you guys would do in the real world, right? So real world experience is just hopping in and figuring some things out. All right. There's not always going to be a class to show you exactly what you guys should and shouldn't be doing. There's nothing wrong with meeting somebody and following their proven, repeatable system, but you guys have to be curious, right? Just like we're curious with our clients and finding out what's really going on. And if I can do X, will they do Y? You should be curious about the tools and resources you have available to you. All right. So just being curious, hopping in here, and that's the design of this class, is we're going to explore some of these things together, guys, and make sure we understand the different capabilities. So if you click on products and services, right? So you go in here and you see a whole list of stuff, right? Like I said, obviously Matrix is the first one. It's pin favorites we use a lot. Even if it wasn't a pin favorite for me, we got right here at the Stellar Core products, right? So if you open up Matrix, this is the page you get. Simple, some few things. Like I said, a lot of us have experience in Matrix, so I'm not spending a ton of time here. But you can do some market watch things, right? So you can do this is cross property. You can set it up however you like, but cross property would be all of these different things you see expired, sold, new listings, price increase, right? If we drop down that menu, so the cross property is residential income, vacant land, rentals, business, commercial sales. If I only want to know residential, all right, I can set that up and get just residential. Time frame is the last 7 days. Here, you can also go ahead and set up your own market watch, right? So this is good information. A lot of people will put together, and one of the other things we're going to cover, we'll have some of the similar type of information, and you'll come to find that out, right? When I played around the MLS and started realizing a lot of the stuff is in the same places, a lot of companies are doing the same things and providing these type of details. But we can go in here and we can create a market watch. And the best part would be, say, if you wanted to go ahead and start farming a certain area or subdivision, well, you can type in that subdivision. You can start tracking it. You can type in certain zip codes, start tracking it. All right, certain counties, start tracking it. That's going to be crucial because a lot of times when you guys see people put up the market update with no context, my business partner Sean has a great video he does all the time, and somebody on stage at like a TED talk, and she's like, nobody gives a f about your market update. And everybody's like cheering and clapping. And the point was, though, there's no context. That's what she's trying to make people understand. Like when you just throw this information up and there's no path, there's no understanding of what we're trying to accomplish by just sharing this information, well, you're going to get, you give vague details, you're going to get vague results. And so say if you really wanted to hone in on all of Orange County, right? You punch that in, county. Or maybe let's say like, we wanted to see what's going on with the REOs, right? Real estate owned. We can go click on that type of property. All right, we can click on single family residence. All right. So this should be showing us what is currently save. That did not do it. So that changed my market update down here, right? So you can see in Orange County, there was only one new REO property that went live last week. So again, if that's something maybe you're looking at, right? REOs can be a great opportunity. So this is a 32824, Wyndham Lakes Estates. It's a 4-4. You can open that up. Real estate owned. Yeah. $824,000 real estate owned. Beautiful pool logo. This is a very interesting property, but this is exactly how it is. That's what I was talking about the course being designed this way, guys, right? Like I'm just popping in. Let's just see. Let's be curious and find out together and see what we got. So let's see. Truman, 2016. These type of REOs is always fun to come in here to the, if you guys don't know this section, the owner. Let's find out who the owner is, right? You're not going to find a lot on that. It would appear that this is probably maybe a death in the family or something like that. And maybe they didn't have it set up properly or something. Just doing a little bit of digging down here. Realtor remarks are crucial for RE owned, right? So you come down here, see what the specific instructions are. Well, this is a very interesting property, though. But see, just by setting up that one, just taking that one piece of action, guys, look at this that we created, right? Now we're getting curious. We're starting to think more. We're trying to figure out some. So again, that market watch, right? We can see in the last 7 days, 3 REOs were sold, right? Or what, pending? Or they just have pending to sold. So let's see. Real estate owned. Seller's offer has accepted an offer and will go pending once the contract package is completed. And again, owner. Always really weird and complicated owners on these ones, guys. They're usually in trusts. All right. Sold price. Let's see if it's sold. We should have a price in here. So went under contract on March 28th and it's sold 531. Previous price or no price or sold price. There, sold price for 450. So this could be something that you look, you know, they listed this for 449, 900 and sold for 450. Maybe this is a great example of you get those clients that, oh, you know, I want to get the foreclosed homes. They're great deals. At one time, that may be true. Real estate's a living, breathing thing, guys. They have to understand that, especially in that scenario, ever since 2010, 11, 12, you know, 08, 09, people start coming out of the woodworks as investors and buying these foreclosures, and that's when that was a really great market. I'm not saying you can't find a deal, and I always tell my clients that. I'm not saying there's not deals out there, but this thought that you're going to come into the world and all of a sudden there's going to just be all these foreclosed properties that you can just give $100 on, and I mean, they're gone are those days. But here's a great now, just by doing a little research, I can go to somebody and say, hey, look, this RE owned, real estate owned, foreclosed home was listed at 449,900 and still sold for 450. Right? It was listed in November and didn't get a contract until March. So this is a good way to find data to share with people. Let's see the next one. Now this is a proper real estate owned home right here. Great Star home with no HOA. It listed for 280. It was on the market for 150. So that's consistent with what we just saw in the last one. Come down here, owner. They didn't put the owner's information there, but sold for 274,100, and it was cash. So you're gonna see that in a lot of these. 274 listed for 279. So just fun, but guys, this is what happens when you get curious, right? So we're going around, we're searching, we're seeing things, and just having it pop up. All right, so on the matrix, one resource right there, and that was just off our homepage, right? So we just started to go down that rabbit hole just from looking around our homepage and maybe taking a look at things we haven't ever looked at before. eProperty Watch, I'm going to be bringing that one up later. If you guys don't know, that's a great resource, but it's one of the ones I enjoy to use. But if you're using your matrix at a very high level, this is a lot of stuff that was back when I was day in, day out. Since I've been the team lead, I don't do the day in, day out sales as often, but I was using this as my CRM. And so you can see the folks I have set up for these automatic emails. You can still see it. My title said Andrew Brooks EXP Realty, so that's how long it's been since I sent a client out on this. But these are all properties I would have had to approve for them to be sent, right? So favorite searches, you can see my boy Urban when he was looking for a house. This stuff stays with you, all right? Then one of the things I'm going to get into is one of the CRMs that's provided by Stellar that we all have access to. And the reason I wanted to talk about that one is because a lot of us will work at a brokerage. Martha, as long as you've been around, you probably know you work there, you upload your leads to that CRM. Well, they take that. And then you lose that. You might lose the progress, you might lose the notes, you might end up getting the contact information, which is great. But sometimes we leave and they pull that instantly. You don't get a chance to go back and get your notes or figure stuff out. That was one reason why that's why I started personally on the MLS list or using this CRM or using MLS is because I knew that would stay with me.
Because it's concierge. I've been always curious. I don't know how that is used.
Yeah, so the question was she's curious why it's the term concierge or how's that used. So concierge, to my knowledge, when I'm setting up the automatic email, it'll say, do you want concierge service? Concierge is exactly this, where I would have to approve that being sent to them. So if you set it up where they automatically get the things no matter what, to my knowledge, the only difference with concierge and not concierge is you're actually reviewing it. Yeah, so that way, if there's these little one-offs like they love all this stuff, but they would hate if the house is yellow. There's no way to put in that into the automatic search results. So that way I want to approve them to make sure I don't send them a yellow house before. So that would be the difference with concierge. So yeah, so this is the homepage, guys. A lot, like I said, we all have a lot of, well, hopefully we have experience in this program here, the Matrix. But for those that don't know, you can search commercial sale, you can search commercial leases. There's not as updated the commercial space. Not that no one has tried. I mean, there's definitely commercial search engines, but commercial just doesn't necessarily operate that way. It's a lot less regulated in the sense of, the way that National Association of Realtors regulates the MLS, and we can go ahead and do that. Commercial just doesn't happen that way. So there are commercial sales and leases here. I'll say this little caveat, especially since we have people potentially joining us on YouTube at a later date. If you don't be afraid if you're a new agent to get into commercial. We've had tons of new agents get into commercial. We've had a lot of people. It can be as simple as just like real estate. When I go to I meet somebody and just say, hey, do you love where you live? And they just starts the questioning and we get going and we talk about this, we talk about that. The same thing can be true for commercial. So if you're a new agent, literally all you have to do is just pick up maybe here locally to Orlando, like just go on Colonial and just go from business to business and ask how business is. And when you're just curious and you just start conversation, look, if they tell you business is good, it's like, well, hey, let's expand, man. Let's get a bigger spot or let's go find a second locations, especially in restaurants. We see a ton of that here, and it is tough. I'm setting you up for failure because it is hard to find a restaurant around here Everybody's trying to get into this food market that is Orlando because it is a very strong market. But that's as simple as it can be to start in commercial. Just walk in and say if they say, so say if you ask how's business and they say it's bad, well, hey, we might need to get you out of that that spot, right? So just a little quick caveat. Like I said, I just had Catalina join us. Hey, Catalina, but just so you know, we are uploading this to the YouTube page. I'm going to be covering a few things here or there in case somebody does join us that way and sees this class. So just covering that real quick. So commercial sale, commercial lease, business opportunities. Be careful with that one. Commercial sale and lease, and the difference between that and business opportunity. Sell a business is a little bit different. Our license, most of us don't are broke because we work on behalf of our broker. Our broker doesn't have the insurance, the E&O, the liability to cover selling a business. Not that you can't do it, but you want to make sure that you get with your broker before getting into something like that. So business opportunity would be like, hey, the only one I came across early in my career that I'd started pursuing before I realized all the difficulties with it. It was a pizza shop inside of a gas station, right? So they wanted 90,000 for the business, and you're buying their book of business. The quickest way to break that down is, say if they were doing, say if you're doing 100,000 a year. If it's a decent business, most businesses you would sell it for one and a half times that because you're paying them for the next 1.5 years. So if their revenue or their profit is 100,000, then you should be buying it for like 250 times 1.5, right? If they're a great business, then maybe times 3. But to sell the business opportunity, I would have to sell, hey, you're buying this equipment, you're buying their recipe, you're buying this, you're buying that. Now I'm a former GM at Wawa, so I had an idea of the P&Ls, I had an idea of the equipment, but that's why caution getting into business opportunities and business brokering. I mean, that is a different world. So they do have it here, and it's only in the most recent years that they bring this stuff up, business opportunities. But again, proceed with caution and make sure the broker knows what you're getting into before you do it. All right. So there is some rental here. Most of us, if you've been in the industry long enough, know the rental market locally isn't the strongest for an agent. It's one of those things. If you're going to do it, you got to really be committed, and you got to do. You're going to want to have that be your main focus because it's going to be a numbers game. You're going to want a lot of different people paying you or helping you. I do actually, so a lot of us are former EXP or no EXP. I actually know somebody at Icon though from helping renters, and so it is possible. I mean, there's definitely a market there if that's what you go after and you have that niche. But coming here to find rentals is not the best place. You're more likely going to get a lot more better. You're going to get a lot better results. I personally use apartments.com. That's where I see some of the best results. But Realtor, Zillow, and Facebook is the worst. Do not go to Facebook Marketplace to try to find a rental. Uh, so yeah, or Craigslist. All right, so not to beat this because a lot of us know Matrix, but you got your market reports. It's the only other thing I like to highlight because I come here often, right? So a lot of times you can pull up agents, you can find out their production detail report. So somebody like me, you're like, why is he teaching that class? Yeah, if you go and see my production, I've already openly admitted, hey, look, I'm a team lead. One of the things that drew me to LPT was that it was real estate first, and I think that's crucial to our business. But a lot of times you want to make sure you're learning from those that are actually in the business and doing stuff. And so if you ever want to pull somebody's number, if you ever think somebody's lying to you, you can come here and check that out, right? So market reports, you can put in a date, you can do, like you said, you can do agent team, office. So maybe on a better note, look, maybe you're looking to join a new team. You want to know, like, I should pull Mark Spain's right now, see how much Mark Spain's been doing, right? Because you can do whole firms. A lot of times when you see, somebody post, our office did X amount last year, this is all they did. Their agents are registered to that firm or that MLS ID. And so all they have to do is type in that MLS ID and they get all their numbers. So that's how they can pull it so quickly. Is how Real Producers gets the information. It's public info well, not public, but once it's on here, we can access it. So market reports, again, that's, obviously you guys know I enjoy that. I pull numbers, see who we want to go after to recruit, to attract to the company. And so, yeah, like I said, guys, today the class is about the Stellar MLS, about all the different resources we have. I just dove into Matrix. Matrix is the one that we all have a lot of experience with because we use it on a daily basis to search for homes. But when I started the class, I was talking about, hey, a lot of times when I say, hey, go to the MLS search, you're not actually going to the Stellar MLS, you're actually going to Matrix for us. All right. All right. So the next thing I want to get into, Rent Spree. All right. So this is a new one. I know some of you and even on the class right now have done some work with investors and tenants and all that stuff. The tenant screening made easy, right? So we get this question a lot of times. I have an agent that ventures out, and especially the market we're in right now, we got to get into every deal that we probably can because deals are down. But rent, so a lot of times people get into either helping investors buy a property and then they need help renting it out, or you just have somebody that comes to you and you want to help them the best you can because there could be a relationship down the road. But rent spree is something that you can use to screen your tenants or to screen potential people that are going to rent from you. So you can see I just went through the Stellar. I have it read. All right, so it automatically pulled over my information. At the beginning, if you guys missed the beginning of the class, I said today's class is going to be in a very kind of curious way where we're going to explore it together. Obviously, I picked these out. I have an idea of where I want to go with everything. But today, I actually just kind of want to hop in and show you guys this is what you should be doing on your own time is being curious, getting out there and see what resources you have available to you. All right, so I literally just activated my rent spree account right now. Screen new tenants. Now you'll find out, just like this one and some of the other ones, right? I can't even get to this part without signing up for some of the memberships. So some of the applications that we're talking about today, they are provided with that fee that you already pay. Some of them you get a discount with the fee that we already paid Stellar, and some of them are just straight up. Maybe they paid to be on the homepage of Stellar, and so that's why we're seeing it. But look here, I mean, great way to again if you're really going after rentals and it's what you do and this is your niche and this is really great resource for you, it would appear. I mean, so far I haven't had to pay anything, but I'm sure if I actually went to go screen a tenant, that's probably where some payment options would come in. But at least you can get going. At least you can understand, hey, you have this resource. At least when you find that investor client, um, once you find that investor client and they ask if you can help lease the place, well, you have this great resource made available to you. So I would definitely get into you. So this is using TransUnion, it would appear. All right. So it creates a nice little packet and goes from there. But like I said, great access reports, no cost to you. Our services are free for agents and property owners. Applicants pay the fees directly. What a great resource. All right. So that's rent spree. You can see client manager, you can see tasks. That's one of the things you're going to notice consistently through all the different applications. I can't tell you how many of these are somehow a CRM, right? That they track their own, whoever I upload into this, they will stay in touch or they will have updates or reminders. You got rent payment here, you got renter's insurance stuff here, man. Rent spree. I mean, this looks like a pretty much start collecting rent, watch tutorial. Seems like a one-stop shop if that's something you need to get into. Or maybe you are an investor agent yourself and you have your own investment properties. Rich, when you were getting investment properties, did you have tenants or were they just yeah, it would I mean, did you have a system like this or does this seem like something that's pretty yeah. So Rich, okay, so we got Rich here in the audience as always, Appley Home Mortgages. I appreciate you guys being here, giving us space. But Rich was just talking about when he is an investor, this being something much more efficient, much more one, providing a lot of great resources. Yeah. So if you're an active agent, it keeps it inside the same ecosystem, right? And that's the whole point of today's class, right? These are all resources available to you just by all that money you pay to the Aura and the MLS board here locally. So yeah, guys, this is rent payment with rent space. Pretty secure. Yeah. Type of methods of payments, bank account transfer, credit, debit cards. So a really great resource here, folks. And so hopefully that's why I hope that you take it from this. All right. So don't close it. All right, so again, we're back here in Stellar. This is just once, so we go to our home page, we've logged in, we got this page here. You haven't see our favorites to the top, but we're going through and we're really exploring the different options available to us. A lot of times you guys don't come down and just scroll through all these and see what you have available to you. So that's what we're going through today. So that first one, we outside the box, other than Matrix, was rent spree, and that's great for if you have renters or somebody an investor that you want to go ahead and be able to screen renters and track their payments and track and manage rental listing. Next one I want to talk about is Prospects CRM. So I talked a few minutes ago saying that I was using my MLS because a lot of times when you guys join a brokerage, yeah, they might provide a great CRM, but you have to understand any information you upload in there is going to be proprietary then to that broker. And if you go to leave, they could yank you out of there and you would not be able to access it. And so it's always got to tread lightly and make sure you understand that it's possible. Usually, like I tell people all the time, look, if you ever get to the point where you're going to make that change, almost every CRM has a way to offload or export your leads and the data that you put into it. Well, understand, even though you do that and you still have access to that information, so does the previous broker. Some of those will then go after those leads once they're in their system. And so you got to tread lightly. It's just one of those things a lot of us learn at some point in the industry, and we all go back and say, man, I wish I would have done it this way or that way. So I want to bring to your attention Prospect CRM. It's a really great CRM. So a lot of us might pay, or some brokerages I know they have a way, they'll provide the CRM to you, or they'll get you going, and or you might have to pay for it. So I know a couple other brokerages, you pay a small fee every month, or you're paying through your split, right? So if you're at a 70/30, my first real estate brokerage was Exit Realty, and the broker provided us Commissions Inc., and it was a really great CRM. I was paying 70/30, 70, I took 70% of the commission, they took 30%, and that's where the money was coming from to provide that to me. So yes, it was free, but it was part of the whole reason of paying that split. Once I left that brokerage and went to EXP, I didn't have access to that anymore. And so that's where I tell these stories, right? So Prospect CRM, though, is something is again through your Stellar, has a lot of great information. These leads here, these are all leads I've uploaded to the matrix, to my MLS. So this whole time, until I started exploring and play around to get ready for this class, I've always thought I had to stay over here, and I had my clients only on my matrix. But because Prospect CRM is in conjunction with that, I already have 87 contacts in here. I didn't upload those contacts. It must have been communicated through the CRM or through Stellar to the CRM. So as I played around a little bit, obviously I want to have an idea before I came and brought it to you guys and make sure it made sense. Here alone, right? Here's your virtual assistant. So it's been 246 days since I talked to this client. All right, I told you guys, hey, this is my CRM from the last 7 years, and so a lot of these contacts I uploaded, and they got a house. But here's a perfect example. Though, shame on me. Right now, obviously, I haven't been updating this, and that's why it says 300, 800 days since I contacted these people. I have stayed in touch with them through either my other CRM, or just because once I do a deal with somebody, that I do deals with people I know, like, trust, right? Same reason they do deals with me, and so we are in constant contact. But not sure how baby mama got in there, because everybody knows I do not have one of those. So I forget who saved their name like that, but somebody must have, right? Oh, I know what that's from. Okay, so these are, at one point we were uploading agents as well, so somebody changed the name. All right, so as we go through, here's all the different contacts and market reports, right? So this one I was still playing around a little bit, didn't get to the ins and outs. Earlier I said when we're looking at the market reports from Matrix that there are going to be repeating things, because a lot of these guys do the same things. So the Matrix had a CRM. This is a CRM. Matrix had a market report that we went to down here, right? And we changed it, and we said that now I'm looking for any REOs in the Orange County area, and so now my market watch over here on my dashboard is different. So this market watch, I started playing around with it earlier. Didn't really get to see what type of reports it had, and so I encourage everybody to go and play with that a little bit more to see what they can turn out. Again, there's going to be another one that I go through that I actually use for market reports. So what I liked about this is, again, so you can see these don't have uploaded. This is what I liked, right? So this is my CRM, and these have these checklists. They have activities associated, right? So if I have a buyer, so this one right here, right, this template, because even if you don't use the CRM, you can still use this information. These are good ideas. All right, this is a checklist, 2 months high touch plan. So say if you get that lead and you're talking to somebody, they want to move down from the Northeast, like we had a bunch of cases and still do have a lot of those cases, and like, it's got to happen. Well, this is a high touch point, 2 month high touch plan, right? So you set up, so each activity had, like, just looking at this, I was like, again, this is what happens when you start playing around with this stuff, guys, because there's so many great resources. All right, but look, set up the market report. Action plan starts. Activity to do it. All right. New lead. Thanks for connecting. All right, so you can open this up. It's email campaign. Send this email. So it's an email that they've already comprised everything together to go ahead and just send it out. Right. So once you start the plan, then this email goes out. Right. So what you're doing is when you upload a lead to the CRM, all right, you can attach one of these different plans. So this is just the 2 month high touch plan. All right, so I set up the market report. It sends it out. It triggers this new lead. Thanks for connecting. Right? When I open it up, it doesn't even go into the details of what's in the email. You can change that. I did play around with that earlier and saw that. But this is just a to-do list for every one of your clients. A lot of us need those checklists. Just wake up, just log in, tune in, and start taking care of different tasks. And this right here, so I can come in. So this even tells you one day after the plan started. All right, review and send recent sales. All right, create opportunities to connect with your seller, provide relevant, valuable information. I mean, this is pretty cool stuff, honestly. Because a lot of us have this in our mind. We've probably gone to AI. Yes, Martha.
So I see that it suggests what to do, like common home buyers mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Does it bring you to an article, something that you can send to your prospects?
So which one you said the common home buyer mistakes? Let's open it up. Let's see. One of these was showing you what was in the stuff. As far as and your question was, whoops.
Then you have to be looking for something that says common buyers mistakes.
So I would assume that's already included. So this was buyer checklist. Let's see. Let's find out. Let's see if we can't.
Yeah, because we go through all Google to figure it out how to send that is real and of interest.
Right. Let's see. It might be down here, and text templates is where I saw what the actual content was. So let's see when we get down there. But I would assume, and if it doesn't, then I do. I mean, I have a buyer's guide, or I'm sure you do. And so yeah, so the question she was asking is, in these, do they actually have a market report or an actual thing going on, a common home buyer mistakes, campaign. So, hey guys, this is great. Just to-do list checks off. It tells you when to do it. So 10 days after the plan started, 0 days, after review market report, send follow-up text. I mean, that's just something that should be, actually it probably does it for you. Let's open up behind. Yeah. So yeah, here's some content. Let's see. If your seller prospect is not responding to your marketing insight email, send the following text. So yeah, it details the note you should be sending to them. I'm gonna go back and play with that other one, see if it wasn't there. Yeah, I gotta assume it's like I was gonna set myself up for as a user and see if I sent me the email and see how it came in. Read it on last modified. Choose when this activity to start. After another activity. Man, there's a lot of great options here, guys. So I know some of you just jumped in, after we started. And so today's class is intentionally designed where we're just gonna explore stuff together and see what is available to us. I obviously have a general idea which resources I want to talk to you guys about, but again, some of it was just showing you this is what you guys should be doing on your own. You should just be hopping in and being, curious and exploring the different stuff. All right. So we joined through our Stellar, and then we came to our home page. Everybody knows about the matrix, but we're coming down through all these options down here that you might not have done before. We talked about rent spree. We're now in Prospect CRM. All right. And so on Prospect CRM, one of the things I wanted to highlight to you though is that they have these templates for, different clients you might have, right? Send birthday cards. So they got a birthday card, action plan. They have buyer closing checklist, right? So you get that buyer under contract, offer accepted, the next steps. I mean, this stuff is all here. This is, like I said, there's a lot of great information and something that you could easily set up your business around. It's I highly encourage people to dive into this a little bit more. So that's action plans. Let's get into text templates.
Hey, Andrew.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Morning.
Hey, I was wondering, are you gonna go over listings on this, like inputting a listing?
I was not, but I can.
All right, because I might be having a listing coming up soon, so I just want to be prepared for it.
Gotcha.
Do we have to? I remember the last time I had to take a little quick course before you enter the listing. Is that still happening with the MLS?
Yeah. So if you took it already, you shouldn't have to, because I only did it the one time. And once you're authorized, you should be good. I mean, I just put up that listing 4 or 5 months ago, and I didn't have to redo any class. So if you haven't taken it with your current MLS ID, then you might have to do it.
That's where I think I'm at because this is a long time ago, so I kind of let my license go and then I brought it back and redo everything. So I haven't done a listing.
You should see it in your dashboard over here, or on your actual over here. Go to home. Products and services are one of these here, quick actions. If not, then just hit up the MLS customer support. They'll tell you if you're good to go. Class isn't too long. I think it's like a 2-hour class.
Something like that, I remember. All right, cool beans. Thank you.
Yep. But yeah, I can cover that too at the end if you want to go through. I just helped Yasmin answer a few questions yesterday. And I'll tell you honestly, once you go to upload the listing, anything they got so many of those little question mark, like just yesterday, it happens every time for me when I'm uploading a listing. I'm like, which 3 rooms do I have to include, right? And so if you hover over that little question mark, it'll tell you which. I mean, so they've made it pretty seamless. And like I said, any little thing we can obviously help you out and check it out with you. All right, so on Prospect CRM, right? So here's just some automatic text. So that's what in my head I would have to assume. Let's go ahead. Let's see if we can't just add one. I'm really curious. Well, I guess this is the drawback to this is how to upload a lead. So maybe I have no, I doubt I have to do it through my MLS. So yeah, so that might be worth looking into, guys. But this Prospect CRM, either way, like I said, I at the very least would come in here and just jack all these and put them into my own database of training and stuff like that. I mean, these are really great things. So it's what category? Congratulations on sale, contract not renewed, answer lost contract, new contract live on the MLS. Let's see what this does. Click on this. So a quick email, hey, Andrew, just quick note to confirm it's official or your property is now active. So these are just quick templates that just shoot out. It's a great resource to go ahead and build your business around. And so I highly encourage you guys to go in here and play around with these templates. Online report listings. Yeah, so you can come in here. I'm sure you can see your client's activity. If you did for contacts, you can see what they've been looking at or doing. So Prospect CRM, guys, if you haven't used it, like I said, the biggest resource I like out of this is the action plans. A lot of us will spend so much time, and that's what it's about because I know I did it when I first started. I spent 2 months just trying to figure out my headshot and getting my right business card, and I didn't talk to anybody because I didn't have a business card yet. We waste so much time. We waste time just everybody loves the planning phase. David Goggins talks about. So we'll sit here and we'll be like, all right, I'm gonna come up with the best buyer prospect plan for 2 months. And so you'll go through and it's like, man, it's already done for you. Just come here. And you have the best 2 month prospect plan already. Somebody else went and did the work for you. You can R&D it, rip off and duplicate. All right, so we've already talked about Stellar, but the next thing I want to talk to you guys as we come down this home screen, products. So we come down this products and services screen. So we talked about Rent Spree, and then we talked about Prospect CRM. We are going to transaction desk. I moved it. Okay, I see where it is now. So, but Prospect CRM. But over here, MLS stats. I told you there's going to be a third place that we talked about stats. It's just straight up here with the MLS. So I was dogging and making fun of those market reports earlier, but this is where a lot of people will go and grab it. So you'll see people post this in our local market a lot. And this is the one we're talking about. Like, why are you doing that? Right? If you post this with no context and you're just posting it every day, well, the casual observer has no idea what this stuff means, right? Unless they're, like I said, casual observer, but unless they have maybe 10% of the knowledge. And so it is fairly user friendly, right? To grab the statistics and this general, hey, just so you know. And if you are doing it on a monthly basis, then maybe the person like I said, a lot of times people are watching and not telling you, right? That does happen all the time. And so maybe if they are watching it month over month and they're tracking it, but the likelihood that they're actually watching this month over month and waiting for you to release your big market statistics is very unlikely, and that they're really tracking these numbers. Now, this does break it down for you. Active listings, 61,000 listings. Does that sound right? 61,000. Inventory is definitely on the way up. I did see a great stat. And so that's why I'm not saying not to do this type of stuff, because I saw a great stat that somebody posted saying we have 6.5 months worth of inventory for Aura, but inventory for 350 and less was only about 2 months. And so that's still very much a seller's market if it's that low of inventory. And so that's something taking, again, with no context, this stuff is completely useless to the casual observer. It's good for us. It's good for us to understand and track and understand these numbers. So we do it. This is our life. But they come in here to MLS stats. That's just a quick generic one that a lot of people grab. And so if you do want to do some marketing with it, you can come here and grab that if you see it out there. Like, where do they get that from? But if you come here, right, you can you have all different types of stats education, education series. So this here would appear that it's education in the sense of it's telling you what you can do with these stats, right? That's a pretty good resource. This is how you would get somebody to care about your market report that you're posting that I told you nobody gives a F about. So supply and demand charts. Look, we're just talking supply and demand. Here's some more charts. So say if you are that type of person, I'm real big into data points. Numbers never lie, and so this is through smart charts. All right, housing market analysis is for stellar MLS or region. 5-year April average 16,000 close, 16,000 sales. So the 5-year average is 16,000 transactions. We hit 16,196. So April 2024 was actually a little bit better than the 5-year average. That's probably because we had stuff that was pretty stagnant, right? Again, the 5-year average, April average for stellar MLS new listings was 17,500. This year it was 21,000. That's a pretty good stat to know. That and the 5-year average was 17,500. This year it was 21,000. Stellar MLS active listings, the 5-year average was 29,000. Look at that one right there. That's pretty crazy. The 5-year average was 29,000 active listings in Stellar MLS. In April 2024, there was 54,000. That's a pretty big jump. That's why I just said, is that true? Is that true? At 61,000? I mean, we haven't really been in this type of market. I've been doing real estate the last 7 years, and so a lot of these things that we're seeing, these trends, most of us have not seen yet. Most of us, I would say, the good majority of agents right now in Stellar and Aura, all were licensed in the last 10 years, and unless you made it through 08, 09, you really haven't seen this type of volatility in the numbers. Pricing trends, right? So trending are on the way back up. So we talked about it. I know a lot of people probably made videos. Hey, in November, December, they probably said, if you're going to buy, now's the time. It was February. It's gone now. We're going back up. We're back above 2023 prices, average sale pricing. Right. So that's the other reason I just talked about, hey, 6 months of inventory, but only 2.5 under 350. It's just because the price is going up. Cost of living in Orlando and Central Florida is going up. Right. Not so much that we just can't get people to sell those houses at that price point. There's just not that many at that price point. So all that conversation, right? That was just from just being a little curious, just coming down. I mean, we got there by hitting MLS stats right here. So again, just another reason, like I said, you guys got to be curious, come here and play around with these different applications. Because I'm not even going to go into some of the ones that most people use, because again, a lot of people do use them. And I'm trying to highlight those that aren't sought after as often. But monthly MLS stats marketplace, right? And that was just from scrolling down here. I didn't even really get into much of I didn't really hit a lot of different areas. This is the education area using the MLS data. So they got trainings on ways to use it, guys. Those are very short, 3-minute class, 3-minute class, 3-minute, 1 minute. So very easy to watch. I highly encourage you guys going back. You guys are watching this on YouTube on a later date. Again, hopefully you're checking this out and you're going into these resources. So I did jump over transaction desk. I'm gonna go back. So in the MLS, a lot of people, depending on where you're coming or you're joining us from, LPT, we have dot loop. We had Sky Slope before at EXP. I've always used transaction desk when I got started. That's what we're on. It does cost extra per year, but it's, for me, it's just familiarity. So for those that don't use it, and maybe you have all these different transaction managers, a lot of people, and the reason I was going to cover this, especially like I just said, LPT is on dot loop, and the more I've started to use it, obviously I'm more comfortable. Our new agent boot camp that we do every month, we teach dot loop, and so I've gotten more familiar with it. But I always used transaction desk. And guys, what you need to keep in mind is that you can still do everything here, and then once everything's done and signed, I go to let's see some of my transactions. So all these transactions here, right? So once this is all completed, I can download these individual things and upload it, right? So I can still do a transaction, still put together an offer presentation or offer and transaction desk. And then once it's done and everyone's signed, wouldn't it so close to the top? That was years ago. But yeah, so once this is all done, I can still come over here, save this as a PDF, and I save that to my computer. And then I can go over to dot loop or whichever brokerage you might be with, and you have a transaction management system like SkySoap, like dot loop, or whichever Broker 360 I think was one I used before. But you can download this and you can upload this file into one of those transaction managers. The reason I wanted to cover this was to let you know, like sometimes we get so wrapped up, especially if we join a brokerage and they tell you this is what we do, and you think that's how a lot of us got stuck on transaction desk because I just thought that's what everybody did because I came into my new brokerage and I didn't realize, well, it's still a resource, right? So a lot of times, I mean, I do this all the time just for reference, or especially because the team we run, agents will have questions and I can't. If I'm sitting on the phone on a Friday night and it's 8 o'clock and I'm out and about, I cannot think of every line of the as is contract, but I can come here. And so this is my DocuBox. So this is the previous contracts that I've saved. Actually, I think if we look at this one here, this is what I think it is. So yeah, I just use the system to upload other stuff too. It's not even contract related. This is for our disc personality class, and I just needed to find a way. I needed a way to go ahead and get this file saved as a PDF, and so I went and pulled it from the one file, uploaded it here, and now I have a different PDF to be able to save. So I use this for a lot of things. But if I go back to the document box, right? So if I want to get the as is contract, I'm talking to that client, to that agent. It's 8:30. It's 8:30 on a Friday night, and I'm out and about, and they're asking me specific bar as is contracts. I can come here and just open up a standalone form, right? And so I can go through and review it without having to start the whole process. I know a lot of us get all wrapped up into the process, and we just get so used to doing it a certain way, and it blows our mind when we're like, oh yeah, you know what? I can just go access that one document. I don't have to go to the listing and start a transaction and go through all the prompts. I can just come here and grab a contract, go through it, and talk to the agent. So keep that in mind with transaction desk. And again, this is something because I had been using it. I was just comfortable. Let's see what the clauses are, personal clauses. So if I wanted to say some personal clauses, everybody ends up creating some of their own stuff. It happened a lot with COVID. People came out with COVID clause or addendum, office ones, right? So I was curious by clicking on this where the stuff would come from. Some of these are just washer dryer, not to convey. I would be curious where these come from. I am associated with the LPT office, obviously, but I got Reichert in here. So I know Jim. So Jim was Remax. He is now LPT. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe some of these guys created theirs when they were at the different brokerages, but now they've come over to the office I'm attached to, which is LPT. And now I'm seeing their stuff as they had opened it in their other. Yeah, that's probably what's going on. So, but transaction desk, this is a great resource. A lot of the on our team already use this because we did use it for so long at our office. If you're joining me through YouTube today, or you don't use transaction desk, I just wanted to highlight it because it's got a lot of great resources other than managing, or helping you get the transaction listing or a buyer contract wrote and presented. But it's got all these other different ways of utilizing it. I've used this for other personal documents because it has the capability to set up signatures and initials and all that stuff. So I've uploaded. You can do that too. You can just upload a document. So maybe if me and my friends are having a dispute and I want them to pay me back the money and we want to sign an agreement, we can come here and do that stuff. So it's kind of cool resource to have. All right, so we go back to the matrix. All right, so we come through and like I said, there's other stuff that we're not even covering. A lot of great information. Realist is a great one. Showing time has a ton of capabilities, right? But again, those are pretty common ones. And so I'm trying to touch on ones that may not be as common. Here's a great area. Additional property search products, right? My Florida commercial real estate, new home source professional, builders update, home path. All right, so the ones I want to touch on. So we have here, log me in. Sorry, I set it up earlier, but it took too long. So this is simple. I'm going to close that window. I'm going to go back to my Stellar page that I'm already logged into. Boom, bring me right in. I don't have to worry about logging it. So I have heard complaints though that this one, might be a little outdated. It doesn't get updated as quickly. And if we're used to the MLS or to Matrix, where we are regulated at a very high level, well, that would make sense. Obviously this isn't as regulated, and the builders don't get punished as badly as we do if we don't have the most up-to-date information. But to come here to have a good understanding, maybe you're a brand new agent trying to get going, you don't know what to do to get business started. Well, touring new homes and shooting some YouTubes is a really great way. We've had a lot of people have some successful careers. We've created some top 35 under 35 by doing that, by just having a YouTube page and going out to new communities. Well, you come here and find new communities. All right. So, me personally, like I said, I just got out to Coco and I was like, where's the new communities? There wasn't many. So, that's a different opportunity, right? Maybe I might be able to go to some builders like, I don't know what y'all are not seeing, but this area is about to blow up, and I'd love to get you guys out here. There are some down here in Rockledge and all that, but getting back over here to Orlando Regional Territory, man, you got what 25 homes here, 17, 13, 15. That's where it's not going to be as updated, right? So you might have 15 here. The builder probably, sold some of these lots and just doesn't have it as updated. So that can be tricky. More so, this is really great for
city of the, you can actually, and in the class that I went to Melbourne,
Mhm.
the representative show us this, and it's so highly updated that you can see the properties that are going in foreclosure, you can see the absent owners, so.
So you're saying
it was
you-
all of-
So you're saying,
And like typical city, probably people also.
oh, okay, gotcha. We'll try it. Like I said, I didn't think. Okay, let's see. So yeah, these weren't on the screen before, right? But now this popped up to it looks like individual. That's a DR Horton. That's a DR Horton. Maybe these are just individual lots. So again, our live studio audience here, Martha was talking about going through a class out at my new association, Space Coast. I think they call it SCAR. And they did a class on this, and they showed, you can get pretty accurate information. So like I said, that's one of those things. I bet you surveyed 100, 50 would say it's not accurate, 50 would say it's accurate. But again, I've said it before. I said at the beginning of this class, we weren't here, but control what you can control. Education you can control. That's why Martha's here today. She found us on Eventbrite and came on in, so we appreciate you being here. But so just by going to class at the local board, she found out a little bit about this builder's update, and it's really great information. And so if we go back to Orlando, Oklahoma, no, Orlando, Florida. Again, so we have all these great options here. And like I said, maybe not so much that you would set your client up on this. You could do that, right? You could set this up just like the MLS and have them search this. I would do this just for my knowledge, right? To be that expert in the area. I would go on here and just see what trends are happening, see which builders are building in what areas, see if you see any specific trends, or just to connect, right? So the best options a lot of times with builders is just to have a good point of contact. And so if you come to these pages, you can usually find somebody to communicate with, right? Sales representative. You can get they have to log in or call. There you go. So it gives you numbers to call and give you ways to access these people. And then once you're on their list, then it's going to make it a lot easier to stay up to date with what they have available. I'm actually a part of a WhatsApp group that was started by a builder that used to work on one of our teams. She just created a WhatsApp group where nobody can comment, but she can upload information and keep us in the know. And so that's what happens. And that's the point of this resource, is just to stay in the know. Not so much that you would use it with your client or set your client up and have, again, another CRM that you're trying to track clients in, but you're in the know. Like this one here looks interesting. I think was this a part of that? Okay, so this is a 55 plus community, right? But it caught my eye because I was like, well, what are they selling here? This is a great 55 plus community going in Lorette Park. These are apartments of big old homes. And so I guess they're actually condos, right? But this one's available for 419, so it's trying to bring some affordability back to that area. But yeah, so just being in the know, and you can search different things here. Let's see some of these other, we were here's to see all the different parameters we could put in. Search properties, custom, or more filters. So you can search school districts, you can search different communities, you can search builders. Say if you have that builder that you really like. I know we've had some good relationships with DR Horton. We've had some good relationships with American. I think it's just American. But by property type. So as long as they have it fairly well updated, then you should get some better results. Ashton Woods, Toll Brothers, Meritage Homes, Richmond American Homes. There's Richmond American Homes, Miranda. We were just at Miranda. So Martha, you might not know this, but every month we take our team out and we go visit a new builder. So Miranda, we were just up in Deltona. The cool thing about them was they'll build one of their homes individual site. That's a pretty cool thing. Not all the builders do that. This Thursday, or not, so next Thursday we are going out to Sunbridge. We actually got a point of contact out there, and then next month we got my friend Patrick We're going to be going to see him down in Point Siena. So this is all a great part of your business, though, and especially in our market, especially in Orlando, keeping up to date with the new home builders and what they're building and what they're doing. They also will be setting trends, right? I started seeing Lennar build these home and home type. Half of the home was not even half. I mean, they had their own little two attached to the home for some of these new family living, right? And that was back in 2017. I saw them start building that. And now here we are in 2024, and you hear more and more people are looking for homes that their either senior parents can live with them, or kids need to come back home, or whatever the case may be. But builders are usually going to be setting some type of trends, right? And you can usually see where the market may be in about 6 months based off of what the builders are seeing, right? If they're dumping a lot more incentives our way, paying us 3, 4, 5%, then the market probably slowed down a little bit because they got to keep moving. They have stockholders usually, they got to keep happy, so they have to keep the movement of the inventory going. And so if we start seeing them do something about 6 months later, we should see that trend. And they start drawing back their commissions, then we know, okay, the market's hot again. They're not really worried about getting people inside, so we can kind of tell where the market may be in the next 6 months by the incentives that builders are offering. You should be able to see that in some of these details. If they're doing it properly, they would upload their property remarks or key selling points, right? And the contact events, and there it is, events and incentives. Please call the builder. A lot of times they'll have that. They change so often, but you can come here and see potentially what incentives or events they have going on. All right, so we go back over to, so that was builders update. Some people use new home resource. I've used that from time to time. Again, it's just a preference thing. The way the page is set up, which you may or may not be more comfortable with. So my Florida commercial real estate, I wasn't going to touch on that one because, like I said before, commercials a little bit complex when it comes to its regulations and all that stuff. And me myself, if ever I had a commercial client, I use Crexy. A lot of people, especially in this class, knows our commercial resources, our agents, and Amel, Bill Hutchinson. A lot of these people we've relied on. So usually when I get a commercial client, I just get over with them, and they have access to Crexy and those type of things. I'll help you out. If you don't, well, then coming here to My Florida Commercial Real Estate is a good place to start, and you can search the public land or public listings, and I'll bring the information over, right? So it's a way to communicate, gives you some details. It probably should give you, database of sale and leases. So that can help with you making offers or understanding how to do because you don't really make offers the same way in commercial. It's a little bit different, but having that data, understanding what's close to you, what's going on close to that property, just like in residential, is very important. Knowing what buildings are leasing for or selling for has that type of data and get you the different demographics. That's going to be key in commercials, get demographics. So if you're watching this on the YouTube page at a later date and you took my advice that I talked about earlier, it is easy to get into commercial. It can be as simple as just walking into a business and saying, "Hey, how's business?" And if it's bad, all right, well, let's get you out of here. Let's get you a smaller place, a more regional place. If it's good, hey, let's get you another location. Let's expand this location. Getting those demographics is going to be crucial to understanding a business needs in the area. So home path should have home path. Home path. Here we go. So home path is the REO inventory website, right? So earlier we were looking at on the matrix, I created a market watch based off of REO properties in just Orange County, and we saw the new ones. We saw the ones that sold last month. Price decreases. They don't have a lot of those because usually they go pretty quick because they're already appropriately priced. But HomePath has a lot more resources on it, right? So this is going to show you if I go in here and I type in 22801, just like I did before, right? So it didn't really show the standing inventory of REO. All right, that market watch that we were looking at earlier, this one here, just new listings or price decrease or pending, right? And didn't really highlight what's the current inventory of real estate owned. If you notice the trend, I was trying to set up a little bit of a trend here where you guys could see. Now I'd be curious because, like I said, some of this class I purposely set up that we explore stuff together, and so I'm not really sure why 1.3 million brand new home is REO. So I don't know exactly all the data they're pulling for this listing. Or let's see, under construction, stunning. But to my knowledge, this REO home path is to help people like maybe a down payment assistance, or there might be a caveat with the property that maybe it's a USDA area, right? So in the heart of Orlando, Eatonville, or some areas around there are USDA approved. And so that could be why this is getting included on this website. maybe because it's under construction. But I definitely don't think it's real estate owned, or if it is, it's because it's a new builder. So if we go back to home path, but this shows you a lot more of the standing inventory. So like I said, I searched 32801. Let's see, 3 bedroom, 1 bath, United Real Estate Preferred. Yeah, that seems like a REO listing company. Huge price reduction, so I'm motivated. So, but HomePath, like I said, the resources that they have for closing cost assistance, for home buy, how much can I afford, how much can I borrow, find your home, schedule a touring, make an offer, closing process, how it works, community first, HomePath, by Fannie Mae. Again, it's more of a government resource, more so than something that we may use on an everyday basis. But for those that might need closing cost assistance, or HomePath is where home buyers, real estate professionals, community-minded buyers can search and make offers on the current inventory of Fannie Mae owned homes for sale. The buyers can also view other property listings, giving buyers access to the most homes available in the market. So there you go. There's the answer right there. They do have not just the Fannie Mae owned homes, but because if you have a client that might need down payment assistance or other resources, this is a Fannie Mae website, and it's connected with the assistance from the government. Simpler home purchase process for Fannie Mae owned homes. HomePath enables buyers to start the purchasing process with just one click. Our online offer process enables agents to submit offers on behalf of their buyers through homepath.com. Buyers are invited to register on HomePath. Improving properties and aiding neighborhood stability. So a lot of great stuff here. I would definitely come back and engage with this site and see what other we have right now some affordability issues. We have clients not able to find that right home, and I think this would go ahead and connect you. Rich, you got any experience with HomePath? Have you? Yeah, I know I've heard the term quite often. Yeah. So Rich, our in-house lender here, he just said it's great marketing. It's a great way to go ahead and maybe grab leads. Martha. Yeah.
I know that the broker is licensed.
Right.
They go to check them. And so the buyers have like so many days, 90, 180, that they are the first to bid.
Right.
But then again, if I'm a buyer agent and my broker doesn't have the license
Yeah.
to work with those properties, I'm unable to really.
Gotcha. So Martha here in the audience was saying that if your broker's not registered to work with a company like HomePath or this particular program, then you would lose out. So it's something you want to verify before getting into. Okay. First look for home buyers and community. So yeah, so it's one of those, a lot. We've talked down payment assistance before, guys. We've talked, the county programs, the city programs. There are good ones. There are ones that work. There are I've used Florida Bond before myself. That worked out, and that's a great program. But some of these other ones, I forget which one it was, but it was like the Orange County one. I heard one year there was like 31,000 applicants and like 17. And so keep that in mind with a lot of these options. And like Rich said, hey, it's great marketing, great way to pick up business. And again, a lot of times why a lot of these won't be used is because it's not the end all say all. But again, another tool to have and what to keep in mind is real estate being a living, breathing things. What might work today won't work tomorrow, and so we need to know about these resources, be up to date as it starts to kick in. Because so short sale stuff, if you want to get information, this is a good place. Say if you have no idea and you join us through YouTube and maybe a small boutique brokerage or broker that doesn't have this info for you, it's a great place to come and start understanding, right? So, home path, short sale, what is short sale, current homeowners. So I would really explore this site a lot more, just have an understanding. It's a area that we don't touch on often and can sometimes be a little bit more difficult. I've known a lot of people made a lot of great careers out of working with the hardest client, because number one, you learn a lot, but number two, and that's who needs your help. And that's what it's about is connecting with people and helping them. And so if you can find that solution, there's got to be resources here, guys. And so it's up to you to explore all the different available resources to help your client. So I'm going to encourage you to come back here to HomePath and search around more. Continuing down, remember earlier on the MLS stats, I talked about they had a lot of those charts put together by Smart Charts. Here's Smart Charts. So again, some of the stuff will be duplicated, and it's all about finding the one that works best for you. And I'm just highlighting some stuff that I've used. A lot of great market and listing data from here, right? Cloud CMA, IMAP. We just heard, Martha here in the live audience said that she would attend a class where they're going to be doing some updates in July. In July, they're going to be updating IMAP. It's going to be a lot more user friendly. The interface will be more client driven and give us some better results because it is a little clunky. Anybody that's been on IMAP, great resource, but the map alone drives me crazy when I'm trying to find that property and I can't zero in. I got to keep moving the mouse on the map to find the property I just want to hit. I do like how, a property address, right? So this is where I come to pull if I have a listing, this is where I go to pull my county record stuff. But this is a period gets a little clunky, right? Because you have to make sure you're on the right county, and whatever county you were on last is the one that brings you back to. So a lot of times I'll be searching something down here in Sumter County for whatever reason. Anybody that knows our market, that's a little outside of it, but not without reason. So it's enough to explore. And then if I leave it there, I'll come back and forget, and then I'll go to type in something for Orange County because that's where I'm normally doing my business, and pop up. I forget to change that. So hopefully that's some of the stuff that they mentioned that they're changing there. But it is fairly the search engine part is fairly capable. If I type in 4482 and just F, start search, there's no addresses that start with 482 F. So if I go here, so if we do, let's try 395. Just keep it at 395, right? Here's every address that starts with 395 in Orange County. So that's pretty complex, right? But you got 18 results, and so maybe that's all you can come here and just that's the littlest. A lot of times we always talk about us being detectives. This is us being a detective here. If I get that little piece of information, then I gotta go figure out what to do with it. That's a great tool to have. That all I have to do is type in just a slight bit. I can type in 3 and get every address that starts with 3 in this county. So So IMAP, they will be updating, so I won't spend that much time, and I hadn't really planned on touching on it because this is one that a lot of people do know about. But that was actually probably the best part that I like to highlight to people is that search engine is very sophisticated, I think, in that sense, almost to a fault where it does get complicated, get all those results. But if you're really being a detective and you know how to connect dots, stuff like that, all these search engine options are pretty useful. But let's just take a Nope. So that's a perfect example right there, right? So I went to go find my old listing. I went Orange County. Actually, I want to use that example. So guys, I was trying to find I had a listing that I was uploading. I went to go type in to get the information. I did. It's the best. This is one of the best cases I could use to tell you guys the story because I went to Orange County. It was 533 Blake Avenue. I went to Orange County. I did that. Popped up. No results. Okay. Well, this home is down behind Disney. So anybody that knows that area knows we call it the Four Corners for a reason. Well, they're all right. Well, it's in the Four Corners, so if it's not orange, then it's got to be Osceola, right? Four Corners. Let me go 533 Blake. Nothing. All right. Well, it's not an Osceola. It's not an orange. Let me go to Lake County. It's got to be in Lake County, right? Because it's right there at 192 and 29. Lake County. 3 Blake. That's not in Lake County. So I was like, all right, what am I not thinking of? All right. And it's driving me crazy. I had to go over to the arch nemesis Zillow and punch it in and come to find out we were actually in Polk. And that's why I could not find it because it didn't cross my mind, Polk. I was like, it's got to be in Lake. It's got to be in Sumter or Lake. It's got to be in Orange. It's got to be in Osceola. I couldn't think of any others, but it's Polk County. That's why they call it the Four Corners. And so that's a perfect example of why that was a little tricky because it's like, all right, what am I not thinking of? And this house here that is a perfect example of why you got to be careful. All right, so I'm going to close it back out. So we're in market listing data. A lot of people use Remine. I haven't not jumped into exploit it. To my knowledge, the biggest benefit is that you're able to find contact information for some. Not everything, obviously, but it's a great way to set up. Again, one of the other earlier resources I talked about was going to be great for setting up the area that you wanted to farm or hunt. And so Remind, that would be great for if you're trying to set that type of stuff up, right? Because you can get a lot of title type information to my knowledge. So it's not one I use. but it's definitely highly used. And so I just want to touch on it real quick with everybody here. Um, so I had about 3 or 4 more planned that I was going to talk about, and then I was going to open it up and see if anybody had any questions. Like Renee, I know you had some questions about uploading a listing, and so we can get into that type of stuff. One that I actually have used in the past, and I think is a great resource. Again, another great way to generate leads, just like we're talking about with HomePath, but the down payment assistance resource right here. All right, so down payment resource. If you come over here and you open up that tab, this is what you see. So you click on that right there, and it takes you over to this screen here. What you can do, as you can see right here, and this is what I did, I added it to my email signature, right? So anytime I send out my email, stuff like that, email marketing, website, social media, if you want to put this on your link tree or your Instagram, but if you put this link right here, that's your link to down payment resource assistance. So the client clicks on that, this is what they see. All right. Now you can upload them as a lead or as a lead of yours or a potential client. But once they come here, they should, once they click on this and they start going through it, it should be uploaded to your homepage and you can find out, right? So check your available down payment resources provided by Andrew Brooks. That's awesome. You can't really put a value on, the fact that it looks like it's something that you did yourself or you took the time to build out or create. It creates that professionalism, but you can send somebody here and they can type in all this type of stuff and then get details on what they could or couldn't get approved for, what type of down payment assistance is out there, given their scenario or given the area that they want to go into. Again, there's not a ton of in-depth information that is getting back. It is going to be generalized. Is like I said, again, I just brought up Florida Bond, or we all know Hometown Heroes, or forgot it earlier. What's the one where you have to take the 8-hour accredited class? That's county, yeah, just county specific. I can't think what it's called, but that was the one that I was talking about. Orange County, they had like 31,000 apply and 17 got approved for. Yeah, so all backed by HUD. But this is so it creates leads, it creates conversations, creates an opportunity to not only talk to the client, but also get them over to Rich and his LO Junior, and then see if where they actually stand on getting it approved, right? A lot of times we've done rent to own lead generation programs, and a lot of that is just meeting the client, especially rent to own. The idea is that, well, most places you rent from, you got to have first and last months already, and then that's about $5,000 nowadays. It's like for another $2,000 or $3,000, which you can probably find in your garage if you sell enough stuff, or a family member, we can get you approved to go to new home construction and get you into a home because they're doing closing cost assistance and realtor bonus and this, that, and the other right now. So all this I say to say that this is a great lead source where you just go simply attach this to your email signature, your email marketing, your website, your social media, and you can get people over to the site. Remember homepage. I know at one point that's what I can't find it. I had an actual dashboard where I would come in. I could see. Yeah, I'd have to go through all that again. But they do have a dashboard that you can see. What I logged up under.
Hey, Andrew.
Yeah.
So you as the agent would be responsible to see if the down payment assistance will apply to them and push it and so forth, or would it be the lender because they're dealing with the finance portion of it?
Yeah, I mean, in theory, it's going to be so Renee was asking, is it the lender's responsibility? Is it my responsibility, the agent? I'll tell you, when I was a new agent, I got started, I did a lot of, hey, that's lender's job, this is my job. It's not any one person's job, but you got to keep in mind with a lot of brokers, if you're not working with the right one, a lot of times what they're finding for the client is based off of what maybe their company or the brokerage is telling them to push or sell. Like, you got to understand that these are just products that they're trying to move and sell, and so they might not know to go look down. Now, most are, like I said, the Florida Bond or these generic ones. Most lenders will know about those products, but it's no one person's responsibility, whether it's lender or agent. In my opinion, or to my knowledge, it's about knowing what's out there. Now, with AI and with technology, all that stuff, it's getting a lot more just process. It just people get put into a process and it just goes through the system and it picks and it knows. Like I said, especially with AI, it knows all the different products available. But a lot of times, or until we get to that point where it's just that automated, a lot of loan programs, a lot of lenders all have different programs and different things that you can be a part of, and so it's no one person's responsibility. But Rich, I don't know if you have any comment on that, as far as, is it the lender's responsibility, is it the agent's responsibility for finding down payment assistance? What's your thoughts on that?
Please, yeah, everybody give an input on this.
I think it's teamwork makes the dream work. So if there's resources out there, most lenders know.
Can you guys hear him, Renee? Can you hear that?
No, I can't.
Okay. Okay. I was trying to see if you pick up my headphone, but so go ahead and I'll just repeat it back for everyone.
Different lenders on those different programs. Everybody has out. Yeah, offer.
Yeah. So yeah, so he's talking about it being, a collective effort that it's between the lenders, between the agent. Obviously, lenders are going to have a great knowledge of what's currently available, and actually that's what you got to keep in mind as the market moves, the living, breathing thing. When I first got in, Florida Bond was a lot more resourceful, and that's how I knew about it because I got a deal done that way. And then over that was 2017, and now more things became available, or the market was a lot, interest rates were so low that we didn't need as many down payment assistance. And so then it kind of gets forgotten about. But because I had that one specific scenario where I didn't know about Florida Bond, I can speak to that. So, but yeah, even from Rich, our the in-house lender here, he's saying it's, collective effort, and just everybody knowing what's up to date. And like I said, working with the right lender is also the caveat to that question. Because if you work for a bank, if you go to a lender that works for Wells Fargo, well, you're probably going to find out about Wells Fargo's products. You're not going to find out about the marketplace. You're not going to find out about the resources. So when you're working with whether a mortgage broker, because broker has multiple places to go to, or a direct lender is probably going to push their products because that's direct from them. Martha, did you have any thoughts, comments on that in a few years in the business?
My experience with that fund money
Mm-hmm.
is like some buyers, they just go and take the class, but they have to qualify.
Right.
So they have to be under certain income level, how many members of the family. And what I found that many mortgage brokers, they don't even advise those programs.
Right. Right.
Why? Because they think they're awesome. I don't have an answer. So.
Yeah. So she was saying, hey, a lot of those programs too come with certain requirements, income requirements, this type of stuff, and you got to get approved, and that can take time. And so sometimes I would say from that comment, it's more so, or what you start alluding to, it's they don't even want to start that path, and they don't go down it because they know there's going to be all these hurdles or maybe challenges to get people approved. And so, the lender might, so you as the agent, you should know about these things because the lender might not. And the client might come to you with a lender that they're working, again, this goes back to having the right lender that you work with, right? And that you guys are aligned because maybe there are agents that don't want to provide all these other things too because it can be complicated. She was talking about the complexity of getting approved for these, right? So maybe you start working with a lender that doesn't, it's just too complicated and they just act like it's not there because they don't want to go ahead and explore it. But you as an agent, like, well, I want to use every resource available. So then that's going to fall back on you as the agent to be up to date with what's available out there. Down Payment Resource Center is a good place to get that started because it should tell you the different things. I put my own info in there, and you can do that yourself. Just put your stats in there. Some of this, like I said, now specifically, and for those that don't know, Rich has LO Junior, which is a great resource and app that does a lot of that same stuff. So Martha, if you want to connect with Rich over that too, I highly encourage it because LO Junior is a great way to understand how far somebody is from being approved. A lot of down payment resources with the availability of money and the amount of competition nowadays, I would say a lot of people are offering buy down rates or incentive here, incentive there, or getting deals done a lot of different ways. So when it comes to Down Payment Resource Center, it's good to be in the, or down payment assistance. It's good to be in the know. It's good to you see those classes pop up. I'd say attend them or go to these workshops or resources to find out about down payment assistance options. But again, if we're problem solving, if we're really getting to the bottom of what somebody's hey, in a perfect, whether we have ready, willing, and able, or we have the ABCD client scale that we talked about 2 months ago, where we're saying, hey, if they're an A client, they've checked off these 3 or 4 boxes, right? They're ready, they're willing, they're able to buy. But if you find somebody in that C or D, which they only checked out 2 or 1 of those 4 stipulations, then let's find out. I had somebody that couldn't buy because they weren't W-2'd, and we convinced their owner, it was a pet groomer, and we convinced them to W-2 them, and it ended up making that solution, right? So a lot of times when it comes to the down payment assistance, yeah, go ahead.
So in other words, screen your client, do discovery, and then ask the lender to deal with DPAs. And if the lender doesn't put them, then find somebody else that's going to match with them.
Yeah, what was that first part? Is a little broken up.
Is that what I'm
What was that first part of
So
the comment?
screen and discovery. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello? All right,
Yeah, go ahead.
Screen and discover your clients, see where they're at. If they need DPA, then respond with that, and then you actually ask the lender and see if they do that. Because some don't want DPAs. So if it's a perfect match, basically what we're coming down.
Yeah, it was still coming in a little broken up, but yeah, in general, I would say that it's not like you're saying you could use this like down payment as far as this specific resource. You can find out, and this too will tell you who works with individual programs that it does say the person is approved for, so you can find other lenders. But I would say in general, it's good to have some of the stuff is niche though too. Like if you're going to start going after these type of clients, then you got to be that subject matter expert, and you need to know all the different capabilities. I would say, Renee, use this resource yourself. Like put yourself through this, and it will come back and tell you all the different things that you would apply for as an individual, or you could. But yeah, take that back to the lender and say, well, I'm aware of this this product or this or that and the other, and see if they're willing to work with it. If they're not, like I said, down payment would.
Is what will a seller accept?
Good. Renee, did you hear that one? We lost him, so it had to be his connection.
Yeah, I mean that's
So, Rich, if you guys didn't pick that up, Rich is saying it's more so what who you're making the houses you want to make the offer on. Are they going to be able to work with it, right? In a hot market, probably not. That's what happened. The market just got too hot, and have to wait 45, 60 days to close on a assistance program. They just weren't willing to do it, and so it's not that it wasn't a good product. It's not like, and there's no guarantee. We can't make people accept county programs and all that stuff. A lot of people get that confused with government programs. Well, it's government, so they have to. Like, no, they still are entitled to take whatever product they want to take or whichever offer they want to take. Right? They got to do what's best for them, and so that's the tough part. So, a very good point about down payment assistance. Let's see, he's coming back in, so let's see if we can re-enter that conversation. Renee, you there, man?
Yeah. I'm sorry, I was at a
Okay.
bad area.
Yeah, that sounds a lot better, hon. All right, so what was your comment before?
So basically, you screen and discover your clients. If they need assistance on the DPA, you obviously help them out with that. But also screen your lender to see if they actually work with DPAs. Because if some lenders don't work with it, so why am I going to pair with them?
Right.
So
Okay. Yeah.
So it's a two-sided discovery, I guess.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, it's coming down to that, and Rich made a good point. When you were reconnecting, also more so, it comes down to what house are you offering, right? That's which one is the seller willing to accept? Because we can get people qualified all day long, but like we're saying, in the hot market that we were just in the last 2 or 3 years, if I had to tell somebody they had to wait 45, 60 days so that orange count, so that because that's a lot of those, the lender has to approve the file, and then it goes to whatever entity is giving you this other part of the money or whatever assistance, and they have to approve the file. And so actually it comes down to, in a lot of cases, what the seller is willing to do. And so sometimes people get confused, or, oh, the government's backing this, they have to. No, like it's a great thing, and I'm glad the government is able to provide some of those resources to those that might not be able to afford them. But to Martha's comment earlier, a lot of them have income restrictions, a lot of them have time frame restrictions, some of them have household restrictions, too many people, too few people. So with those restrictions, on top of what Rich made the point about with the what the seller is willing to accept, those are 2 out of 3 pillars, I'd say. And to your comment, Renee, that is the third pillar, is you being in the know and then working with a lender that's in the know. But a good lender again, either way, it's problem solving. All right. And so just like that story I told about, getting the dog groomer to W-2 this groomer, it's more so about that. Let's figure out what's going on. How can we solve this problem? If down payment assistance is the solution, that's when it was with me and the Florida bond market was a little different back then. And Florida bond got approved pretty quickly. So it wasn't too much of a holdup. Seller was willing to wait the time frame that was allotted. That's what you got to be looking at. So down payment resource right here, having it in your email signature, having it on your social medias. That's a great topic. It's great hot, keyword, hot word, whatever you want to call it, to generate interest, because that's the easiest way for me to do business. All right. There's no bad leads. There's just more ready now leads. And so if somebody raises their hand and clicks on my email signature that says down payment assistance available to you, well, you'll get notified. They follow that link, they register all that stuff. You'll be notified through your down payment resource center that's available to you through your realtor board. And so that's the caveat with down payment assistance. Just like the rent to own programs we've done or talked about, it's a lead generation thing. We talk about say what?
So long story short, it's up to the seller if they want to accept the time frame and all the stipulations that come with the DPA.
Yeah, I mean DPA will get the conversation generated. So specifically, what would I do with a DPA client? Well, first we try to get them approved.
I never dealt with one, so I don't know the whole procedure. So that's why I'm asking these questions. And if that's going to be a hurdle, a major hurdle, then I'll just try to work with my clients, see if what other.
No, what I mean, like I said, what I would do is, when I use the Florida bonds, and we can get specifically into that scenario, right? I had hooked up with a guy named Barry Botwin, who's OG in this this community or in the Orlando area for mortgages, and so we got hooked up at one of my first trainings I went to, and so I told him, hey, I had an idea of doing a first time home buyer workshop, and so that's where it came up from, right? So we're doing a first time home buyer workshop, and all we were doing was just doing a buyer's consultation with them at the first time home buyer workshop. And when Barry got to talking and did his part, that's usually where a lot of people have the questions is with the lender. So it is crucial to work with a lender that understands all the availability out there in the market. But like I said, it was just a buyer's consultation at first. And it was just the elaborate buyer's consultation. I made this big presentation and I had all this stuff and I did the magic wand. If this is the magic wand and you can live anywhere in Central Florida, where would you want to live? And that gets their ideas going. And so once we went to the buyer's consultation, we understood their scenario. The Florida bond, all it was a $7,000 dollar for dollar loan that they didn't have to pay back until they paid off the mortgage. And so the Florida bond worked pretty seamlessly, and that's what I was saying. I think it took our acceptance time from closing time from 30 days to 45 days. And so once we explained what it was, and back then it made sense. What I would do if I was working with down payment resource clients is I would go ahead, like I said, use that to generate the conversation, but then you just bring them into a buyer's consultation, and they might not, like, everybody makes it more complicated than it needs to be. That's the other problem too, is we don't work with a lot of DPA programs because there's ways to get people approved regardless, right? So, and that's what Juliamar made a career off of, was bringing them in for this, and then be like, all right, well, we're actually going to go down to this builder. If you ever want to own a home, this is the only way it's going to happen, because we got you the $5,000, but the home builder is offering, technically home builders have down payment assistance programs with their closing costs and the amount of things that they're willing to give to make a deal happen. So down payment assistance clients, and like I said, Renee, I'd highly encourage you just go ahead and fill that out yourself, because then they'll come back and they'll show you all the things allotted to you. I mean, I believe it dives into like your ethnicity. There's specific programs, say if you're American Indian, I believe like they have specific programs available to them on their land and stuff like that. I mean, this will really go through all what the government has available to people. But if you have a down payment assistance client, you can put them through that, or just do a buyer's consultation with your lender and see what hurdles you may have to come over or overcome. And a lot of times, like I said, in the most generic or general DPA cases, it's just income. Maybe it's a large family, they have low income, so they could, and if they only had that little bit of help, but they can't ever get to that point because they can't ever save because they have so many what ifs popping up in their lives. That's really the most common time, other than like hometown heroes. But hometown heroes is fairly easy to get approved for. It's just the first responders type thing, teachers, they're making a big push, and that's why the first time or the Hometown Heroes program went through. It's because it's, you know, it's pretty clear who it's designed for. It's pretty clear the stipulations. It's pretty clear how much money they have. So everybody pushed it, and then sure enough, they went to the money fast. Well, yeah, when everybody's talking about it, I'm sure we could blow through the Orange County Assistance stuff real fast too if every real estate agent was talking about it like they do the Hometown Heroes. So yeah, in a nutshell, man, with first time home or with down payment assistance clients, I mean, again, we're still just trying to meet people. We're still just trying to sit down. We're trying to see what the problems is. And so it's like, man, I got somebody that's willing. I got somebody that's ready, but they're not able to. Why are they not able to? It's like, well, they just can't save up that $5,000 to $7,000 for down payment here or there. And so a lot of the programs will help with that. Martha.
Verify that everything comes down to credit score,
Mm,
right? Even the money assistance, they have to be
yeah.
credit score.
A lot of stuff that comes down to down payment assistance is credit score too. So maybe more so they're not able to save, but they've got really bad credit score. And then they've got ways to go ahead and get, you know, to still plug them in and get them into the house because everybody deserves that. And so that's what to keep in mind with down payment assistance. I would say out of 100 clients that come to you because they want down payment assistance, probably 5 are actually going to end up taking one of those routes. That the 95% of them, you just figure out whatever hurdle it is, or in that scenario where they just can't save enough money, well, then you might need to smack them around a little bit and put them on a budget and be like, the money's going somewhere. Like you're making X, you're spending this, it's going somewhere. Let's figure out where that money is. That's our job as agents to problem solve and investigate. So e-property watch, guys. E-property watch. I've talked about it in a lot of scenarios, a lot of cases. It's something I really enjoy to use. E-property watch is a very easy, convenient way to go ahead and connect with your buyer or with your sellers. Because when somebody buys with you, you set them up on an e-property watch. Stop client churn, right? You sponsor e-property watch, and with 50% open rates, e-property watch emails help your clients remember your name. Right? A lot of agents will talk about that's one of our biggest shortfalls or the folly to agents is we don't stay in touch with people that we do business with. So, you know, for those that go door knocking, for those that step out and go into the neighborhoods, if you're not going to get your buyers onto this program, then this is something I'd use to go door knocking, right? A lot of times people don't want to door knock because they don't want to solicit. Well, solicit is to ask. And so if you go out to just share information, technically you're no longer soliciting, right? So if I go out and say, hey, I was just curious if you knew what your home value is. No, that's asking. Never mind, that doesn't work. All right. So hey, I'm coming out to this neighborhood today. We just had a property sell over 123 Main Street. And I wanted to share with you your current home value. That's now sharing information. That's not soliciting. That's not asking. And so if that engages into a conversation, e-property watch, you're not lying. You can get them hooked up on e-property watch, and once a month, they will be sent an email with their updated home value. All right. So it's another way you may be losing important leads. All right. So again, a lot of these resources are just other ways to go ahead and track and to CRM your clients. Right. Why is e-property watch seeing is believing, right? Comparable properties is going into, you know, how they come up with the to the number that they got, but how they build the value. It has a 50% plus open rate every month. That's really great open rate. Why? So they use CoreLogic. A lot of us know CoreLogic. It is one of the monopolies of real estate, from what I'm told from our friend Wilma over at Titanium Appraisal. CoreLogic does have access to a lot of the information on the home values, so much to the point it's close to a monopoly. It's not there yet, but if there's anybody I'd want to know home value information from, it would be CoreLogic. So they utilize that to give you the lowest value, the median value, and the highest value, and they give you the data, right? So this is a really cool thing, and you get notified. You see when your clients open this email. We talk about the 10-15 by 10-15, and that's where we contact 10 people or we call 10 people and we contact 15. So that's 25 by 10-15 in the morning, right? So if you've already had 25 conversations around real estate by 10-15 in the morning, it's a great start. Somewhere you can, you know, so say if, you know, Tuesdays when you contact your brand new clients, or Wednesdays when you're doing just straight up prospecting, maybe Thursdays, you're like, yeah, all right, let me go back and see who all opened my e-property watch up last week. And that's a great reason to start a conversation. Hey, just curious. I know you opened up that email from eProperty Watch and you saw that value you have in your home now. You know, before you'd be saying, do you want to sell? Well, it's not as easy today because interest rates and all that, people don't want to leave, but they could have equity in their house. And you could see that information and you could call them with a plan and say, hey, you know what? I know a great investment property. Why don't we get some of that equity out and go ahead and get you into an investment home? get you building a little real estate portfolio. Let's do something with that equity. All right. Let's not just let it sit. As agents, we have to create the sale sometimes. All right. We can't sit around, wait for something to fall out of the sky and say, all right, finally, this person wants to go buy. We might have to put that piece of candy or put that idea out there. And so by using eProperty Watch, you're able to trigger a lot of those conversations just by letting people be in the know. And even if you don't call them every month, when you see them open that email, you can go ahead and you're tracking it. You know they've been open in the last 6 months, and that's a lot different conversation that you're having with them when you have that type of information. All right. So for Core Logic, you probably do eProperty Watch. They might have turned that into recently. I think I did see they may have turned that on, but it's extra. Let's see. Yeah, I think when Core Logic does it, it is a little bit extra, but it's a discount from what they normally charge. I think it was like 40 to 50. Great resource, nonetheless, to check out. Down payment system, eProperty Watch, and then yep. So the last one that I wanted to go over, guys. Again, you see all these great resources here: listing distribution, rate plug, it's a mortgage payment info, my rental. Here's discounted pricing for sellers, customers. So those are a few other national flood certified flood reports. Appraisal software, Data Master is one of the ones challenging Core Logic for their monopoly on appraisals. Tenant screening. There's another tenant. Earlier today we talked about rent spree, but down here we also have my rental, and you can do tenant screening through that. Stellar MLS University. Again, we talked at the beginning. That's you can go and find out classes to teach you how to use the Stellar MLS rules and regulations, class history, so you can go back and see. I believe these classes that you took. Obviously, that's why mine's empty because I haven't taken any classes with Stellar. You can follow Stellar on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, X, which they still call Twitter. But the last one I want to talk about, guys, and show you these. So Form Simplicity is another transaction desk type deal or dot loop. So you can come here, you can see your classes available to you. I tell you all the time, training is 100% in your control. Control what you can control. And so if you're staying up to date with information and knowledge out there in the industry, you should be providing your clients better service. Or events. So if you ever want to go to an event, meet other agents. Right, here's their list of different classes. This is Artificial AI Day. Oh boy, should be a good one. It's actually happening right now. What is it? Let's see. This morning class offers 3 CE credits. All right, CE class. So if you need CE, it's going to be coming up in September. Might want to get in front of that now. You need Code of Ethics and Core Law, and those are coming up this Thursday. But you see the Commercial Council, you can see Gold Key certification, or around the world. That should be a cool one. That's from 6 to 8. I used to be a part of the Global Alliance at Aura. This one, pack your bags and passport ready, or it takes you around the world. So you get to find out about investment opportunities around the world, exclusive access to special lounge area. Man, they got a lot of great things going on. So again, come in there, you can check out that calendar. Last one I'm going to talk about is RPR. So RPR does a lot of great different things. Everybody's going to have an opinion. Again, this is going to be one of those you survey 100, 50 will say this, 50 will say that. For me, they're usually not far off, and the way that information is being shared nowadays, it's kind of the amount of available information, and algorithms are getting better and better every day. That's what to keep in mind. So what RPR is, and at face value, it's a CMA, it's a appraisal. It covers a lot, so that's why it's hard to just put it in just one word what it is. But you come here. What I like to use it for is a lot of times friends out and about. Friends will talk, ask me about their properties, right? So I had a friend at one point ask me about a property up in New York City. This system does help you go into other areas of the country and be able to pull up information. So I just pulled up my childhood home. Yeah, so I pulled up my childhood home, and it was something that, like I said in the scenario, I had a friend ask me about his mom's house or the house up in New York that they had. They were underwater on it, and so he was trying to ask me some specific things about what they could do up in New York and not having access. I told him, hey, it's best to consult with somebody local to the market that really knows what's going on. But if you want me to give you a general idea, I mean, I think this is it's gotten better over the years too. So I think more people are catching on. But like I said, I just pulled up my childhood home, 6728 Dolphin Court, but I can see here. So I see when my parents sold it back in 2014. Here is the, call this the estimated value, but I'm trying to think what R stands for, retail value market, maybe. But it gives you a range. And so that's where the caveat, right? That's why it's good to work with somebody in the local market that give you that best. I can't tell you what your home's worth until I come out and I see it, feel it, smell it, taste it. No, I don't want to taste the house, but no, I can't know until I really get on scene or I'm true in that market. But here on RPR, I mean, number one, it comes out to say, hey, look, if somebody just wants to know what their house is worth, I can just give them, it's worth 451, 500, right? But if you want to range, because I don't know what type of updates you have on the inside, I don't know, is all the tiles there? Was there a new community maybe built back here that I don't know about, and maybe raised prices or lowered prices or what the scenario may be? It gives you a range, right? So the estimated range. Again, this is, as technology advances, this is just data pulling that they do from all these different resources that they have access to. So mostly the MLS or in that area or whatever, they're able to go and grab, put together this range. All right. It tells you how much it changed month over month, tells you how much it changed year over year. So sometimes somebody might come to me and say, or I might, if I'm hunting a territory, I like to call it hunting. I don't like call it farming. So if I'm hunting a territory, I like to come here, I can punch in an address and it'll tell me how that area is doing year over year, right? So this area in particular has done 5.5% better price wise, which most of us know here locally, we've actually gone down. I mean, I saw in Longwood, I saw a 13% drop, right? So that's why you got to be cautious when you're talking other markets because you don't know what the intricacies of the market are. But I mean, there's a lot of great information coming here that you can find out. Like I said, I helped somebody, it was a friend of mine, she moved up to West Virginia and they were getting a house up there, and I was able to jump on and just give, generally, like I said, combined with my years of doing this, I was able to go pull certain information. Like I said, it obviously came with the asterisk. I'm not telling them, I know better than the person that they're working with what's going on, but I was at least able to give them some generic, like, yeah, this is what I'm seeing, that's what I'm thinking, that's what I'm seeing. But you can see something, you can see the schools, so that's always, I mean, that's a good piece of information to have. You can see, this is like what IMAP shows us that you can find here, right? So you can see who sold it to them, which are my parents. There's a lot of pretty good information here. Estimated value you can track. And so RPR, I use it. I also use it locally, not just abroad in this manner right here. But say if I did want to, so my buddy asked me, or if I wanted to go back to my parents and show them, like, hey, you see how much you could have had if you held on to the house. I can do a CRM, I can do a refined value, I can do a seller's net sheet from here. A lot of title companies will provide some of that stuff, but you can do it here in one seamless process. But even if you did it locally, I mean, it gives you some good data. Let me try to think. I just see. All right. So again, if we go local here to Orlando, 618 Palmer Street, great investment property here. That's what I think of it. Quadplex, a little bit more complicated because it's quadplex as well. But if I want to come here, as you can see, right, there's no estimate. Why no estimate? Well, I'll tell you, it probably doesn't play in our estimate value. It means that there's not enough sales data, right? So it is upfront with you too. If it doesn't have the information, it won't present that it does. So in the scenario, there's probably not a lot of quadplexes available or has enough data in the area. All right, so then it makes it easier, for people to know that you are being truthful and honest and forthcoming with your information. And so in a scenario like this, I might tell somebody like, I don't have that quick answer for you, but especially if it's in our market, I can go over to Matrix and I can do some research and I'll get them a price, or I'll go to Wilma that we have, the Titanium Appraisal Services, and I'll get her I'll get the answer for my client. But just to show you that, hey, it's not just giving you stuff to give it to you. It's it's going to be accurate. It's going to be, hey, this is what's really going on. If they don't have the answer, they're going to be honest about it. You can also switch it into commercial. So again, commercial is something that doesn't have to be kept just for those in the commercial space. We can get into it. We can find information back here and see commercial. So here you'll see there's not a lot for sale in 32801 commercial wise, but there are 4 leases available. So let's see what this one is here. 20 North Orange zoning, or so you can see the listings here, but you can see commercial stuff as well. There's a lease, 5,400 a month. Not too bad of a lease. You can also see reports. Switch back over to residential, create reports. Let's go to reports here. So if we want to do a property report, property flyer, let's say if we wanted to do a property flyer, it'll come, this would be, sometimes you can use these for open houses. You could use this just to go ahead and communicate to people just general information about a property. But you can sell different reports. You can put together a property report, seller's report, valuation workbook, market activity report, 26 pages, 74 pages. See an example of a valuation workbook, right? This is really going to dive in. So if you have those, if you guys know disc personality, C-types are going to love all this stuff. It'll give you very detailed information. Like I said, this one's 74 pages because it's going to go pull the other listings and show people exactly why that listing went for that much and why just because you guys have the same one, it's not the same. Here's a neighborhood report, all right? So this is a sample. All right, let's tell people what's happening in the neighborhood. So again, if you're going out and you're door knocking and you say, hey, I'm just sharing information with people. This is a neighborhood market report. You come here and get a report together, neighborhood to neighborhood. And then you can show that you are a subject matter expert in that area and you have all this data to share with them. And then you combine it with the e-property watch and be like, hey, you know what? Just curious if at that point, you probably create a report, you're having a great conversation at the door and say, well, if you share your email with me, I'm going to get you that e-property watch so you can stay up to date with what your home's worth. And if you want, every 6 months, I'll send you this neighborhood report too, so you can see what the trends are. So again, it's about having different tools and candy to put in front of people. There's been 4 or 5 places I've shown you where to get the same information. So it's not like this is the only place to get it, but it's just different resources, different candy, different things to put in front of people. There's a lot more details. So this is gonna be for your D types, right? Maybe it's not very fun. It's very there's a lot going on here, right? So there could be another one that does present the information or show more value in a more fun way. So maybe you'll share that with an I type. E-property watch is pretty fun. So an I personality, I'll probably just share e-property watch. Probably wouldn't share all this stuff with. But D person or C personality, I'll definitely share this. A D personality, I definitely would not, because D personalities right now, I'd share, give me an answer. They don't have to read through all this stuff. And so talk about today being kind of just a fun, curious tutorial. Hey, let's just go through the stuff together. I don't know if there's things that you guys have seen or if you have other questions. Christina, Catalina, anybody out there? Martha has a question here live.
Simple that going back to matrix.
Right.
The buyer and they say, I want a house in Seminole County for blah blah blah. So you said
Like closer so they can hear through my headset here. So
yeah, this might be a simple question, maybe elementary real estate. You have a buyer and they say, I want a house in Seminole County 3-2 with a pool. So you create Seminole County with all the listings, and then they come to you and say, oh, I found this in realtor.com. And you go, wow, where did they get that one? For 10 years, that's been my question. Like, how specific do you have to be that you can find all the properties that your buyer is looking at?
Yeah.
That really.
Yeah, I would. Well, in those scenarios, or I feel like that's a specific scenario. That exact scenario happened to you? I know there had been a few times where, because realtors behind, that was our whole point of us signing that deal. Sometimes once they did that, especially when the market was really hot, the reason it didn't get sent to them was because it was already pending. And so realtor was saying active, but MLS was already saying pending. In other cases. Yeah. Yeah. No, like I said, it hasn't happened. Sure, it has happened to me as well. And so if you guys didn't hear the question, she was just saying, kind of real estate 101. She's had several scenarios where she's inputted a search type. And hey, they want a 3-2 with a pool in Seminole County. And then somehow the client still comes to them from, oh, I found this on Realtor. And it's like, well, why didn't it come across my MLS? That is one that, scenario by scenario, we'd have to dive into it to really see. I'm sure there is a reason. It should be capturing obviously all 3.2s. Maybe it's a price range. Maybe that. I mean, I don't. Each. That's what I think. It could be a combination of one time it was this, another time it was this reason, another time is that reason. But it's not supposed to, and it makes you scratch your head. I know that's one reason a lot of people will use their maybe a different MLS. That's another reason could happen, right? If I'm out in Cocoa, but if it's setting up, if you set up for homes in Seminole County that are 3.2 with no price range, should be pulling all of them. That's one of the reasons I started using concierge, that everyone popped up in front of me, so I was the one approving what's getting sent to them. What else? Let's see, meaning it is posted in Miami, not Orlando. So yeah, so she's saying in a scenario where somebody's tied to the Miami board, and then they list a property in Orlando, your board, you won't see it, but they'll see it on Realtor, but we won't see it on our MLS. That is another potential, because somebody with a Miami board or a Space Coast board uploaded it to Orlando, and unless I'm a part of that board too, I won't see that one. So that is a possibility.
Sometimes I found that if you go specific to the subdivision, it may pull up more houses and your drip listing.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say. I think that's one of the reasons a lot of people do use the online ones, and have their clients use the brokerage IDX websites, because in theory sometimes I don't know what it is. A lot of, and maybe somebody clicked something on. I was gonna say, maybe they clicked something and set up a listing where it said no, don't let IDX, then that wouldn't pull it to, but then they shouldn't be coming to you. No, it's a great noodle scratcher when it does come up, I'm sure, and it is frustrating. I think that's part of our dilemma and fight with why NAR gave so much access to our MLS, and why we have these struggles. But I'm sure in each one of those scenarios, if you really dove into it, you'd find why did it get triggered, or how did it get triggered that way. And so yeah, that's going to be the anomaly, not the rule, or that's the exception, not the rule. So, but good conversation either way. And so yeah, guys, I don't know if you guys have any other questions. I appreciate everybody participating today. Like I said, we're gonna get this uploaded on the YouTube page, and you got your warning that's being recorded. So hopefully everybody is cool being on our training page. For those a part of our organization, we like to call it. So, and we do have somebody here live that's outside of our organization, but we appreciate you being here, Martha. We are the RE Collective, and we have a fun day coming up this month. So I'd love to stay connected with you if you want to come out. We're going to be out on Kaiva River, just having a little summer fun. But next week we're going to see new construction, and we got Rich with the LO Junior, and we got Wilma for appraisals. Man, we got a really great thing going on, guys. So I'm gonna ask everybody. So Christina and Catalina, Renee, you guys are all part of the team, and you're in the chat. The stuff we have available this Thursday. There's nothing on the calendar for you guys. The council's meeting and going over our plans, and make sure we're bringing you as much opportunity as possible. So that's this Thursday. And next Tuesday, I believe we have Nick Krim doing AI. So Martha, if you would like any information on AI, we do have an AI coach. I don't know if you know Nick Krim. He's national level. He's a good friend of mine. He lived here locally, but he moved to Ohio. But he's going to be doing some AI training, and so he's done 2 or 3 classes already. Like I said, he's our specific AI coach. And so if you want to know about some AI resources to help streamline your processes, then that's Nick Krim next Tuesday, next Thursday. We have our new construction visit Tuesday after that. I would have to get with Juliana to see what's on the calendar for training. And then that Thursday is going to be the fun day, June 20th. And so hopefully all you guys are going to plug in for that stuff. Hopefully you learned a thing or two today, or at least got your mind curious about jumping on and exploring the different options you have available. We pay a lot of money for these, so use them. I appreciate it. Thank you, Christina. Thank you for being here. So if you guys don't have anything else, that's all I got for you. And hopefully you guys have a great day, and things have been picking up. So let's stay busy. Let's get after it. And I'll see you guys out there.
Thanks, Andrew.
Thank you.